If you're a remote worker, freelancer, or online business owner making at least $3,000 per month, then you might be able to qualify for Spain's Digital Nomad Visa, which gives you the ability to live and work remotely in Spain. This was how my husband and I moved to Spain, and it was the best decision we ever made. So in this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process for getting the Digital Nomad Visa so you can live your best life in Spain. Let's go! So let's start with general documents that are required for anybody who is applying for the Digital Nomad Visa. And by the way, I have a checklist that you can download for free in the description below, and it will guide you on what documents you need, whether you apply as a remote employee, contractor, or business owner. So click the link in the description to get access to it. So, okay, the first important document is your passport. Make sure your passport is valid for at least a year from the moment of application. Keep in mind, there are two ways to apply for this visa, either from your home consulate and then a visa is granted for 1 year with the possibility of extension, or from Spain. And then it is granted for 3 years with possibility of extension. Because of this, I always recommend my clients to apply for the Digital Nomad Visa in Spain so that you can get it for 3 years instead of 1 year. If you apply on the territory of Spain, your application for the Digital Nomad Visa is submitted online. And to do that, you need either get a NIA and digital certificate or hire a professional help who can submit this application on your behalf. All pages should be scanned individually, and it is very important to scan a page with an entry stamp to Spain. So make sure the date on the stamp is visible. I recommend to have a direct flight to Spain so that you can get the stamp at the border control. But if it's not possible and you first fly to other Schengen country, you can get a stamp at the airport's police station once you arrive to Spain. The second important document is the criminal record certificate of the country or countries you resided in during the last 2 years. So for UK citizens, it is called ACRO certificate, and for the US citizens, it's FBI criminal background certificate. This document is valid for 6 months from the issuing date. So this actually has to be your first document to get, as this certificate has to be apostilled and then sworn translated into Spanish. The timeline of getting this certificate and then getting it apostilled on average takes 2-3 months. Okay, next, you will either need to show proof of at least 3 years of professional work experience in your field, or you can show your university degree that is related to your current job activity. You cannot show a degree of an engineer, for example, if you are working as a social media manager or as a web designer. In case you don't have a degree or it is not related to your current job, you need to show proof of 3 years of work experience. And this can be done either with a work history certificate or employment record or tax returns or recommendation letters from your previous clients or companies. We will get into that deeper a bit later. You will also need to create a simple resume translated into Spanish. It's a simple translation. You can use Google Translate for that, and list your previous years of experience in your current field. To be able to apply for this visa, you need to comply with financial requirements. In 2025, the minimum wage in Spain has been slightly raised, so the numbers I'm showing you in the table below are updated to this year's requirements. I actually get often questions if these numbers come in gross or in net, and they are in gross. So for one main applicant, you need to show your annual gross income of 33,156 euros, which breaks into 2,763 euros gross monthly income. To show that you are earning the required amount, you attach either payslips or just bank transfer confirmations for the previous 3 months before the date of your application. It is still acceptable to show your savings or money that comes from dividends or rental income if there is a small gap in the annual income. And you then can provide bank certificates for the last 6 months. However, the main part, let's say around 90-95% of income, should be coming from your current active income streams. The whole point of this visa is to show that you have a stable work activity and stable high early income. If you just have passive earnings or savings, then it is another type of visa called non-lucrative visa. And I will cover more about it in my next videos. So this was all from general documentation, and now let's look into how you can qualify for this visa, because there are few ways of how you can apply for this visa. So the first category is remote workers. The main documents that you will need to get from your employer are employment contract, ideally with an open date, because then the visa will be granted to you for 3 years. If contract has a limited time of 1 year, then visa will be granted for 1 year only. Next, certificate of good standing or incorporation of the company where you are working at. The company must have been operating for at least 1 year prior to the date of application. You'll need also to get this document apostilled. Another document is letter of authorization. It must include the approval from your employer of you working remotely from Spain. And it also must state that you have been performing the job for at least 3 months prior to the date of application. And it should also briefly explain your job responsibilities. And the last tricky document when you apply as a remote employee is a certificate of coverage. Why is it tricky? Because currently there is no possibility for Americans to apply as a W-2 workers, because you won't be able to get the social security certificate for the application. Unfortunately, there is still no agreement between the US and Spain that would allow to get that certificate in the first place. So if you're working for a company in the US, you need to switch to 1099 contractor position in your company in order to apply. For other countries, there is no issue with getting that certificate. So the only thing is just keep in mind that if you're coming from the UK, you might need to get the certificate as the first thing, maybe even 4 or 5 months prior to applying, because it takes time to get it. Let's move on. The next category of how you can apply for the digital nomad visa is while being a contractor or a freelancer. So here you need to provide a contract with a client or with a company where you are hired as a contractor. Aside from ideally having your contract with an open date, you really need to make sure that the contract clearly states that you are working as a consultant or a contractor for them. Because any verbiage like employee duties, vacation days, pay slips can be interpreted incorrectly by the Spanish authorities. And also keep in mind that the contract has to be with the company and not with individuals, meaning it would not work selling products online or providing courses or services to individual clients. But there is a loophole to that as well. So if that's your case, contact us with the link below to the video or with the QR code that pops on the screen, and my team of lawyers will be able to help you find a workaround to your specific situation. As a proof of business activity, you'll need to create simple invoices and start sending them to your client for 3 months prior for application. And they also should match the exact number you have on your bank statements. And same as in case of remote workers, you need to get a certificate of incorporation, and the company should operate for at least 1 year, and you'll need to get a signed letter of authorization that describes the project or work you currently perform for the company or for the client, for example. And also you'll need to get the approval of you working for them remotely from Spain. Finally, you can apply for digital nomad visa as a business owner. So for applicants from the US, the easiest way would be basically applying as a self-employed of your own company. Since an LLC is a separate legal entity, you can pay yourself as a contractor and issue yourself a 1099 form for tax purposes. The 1099 income must be verifiable through invoices, contracts, or tax returns. In this case, you're both the owner and the contractor of your LLC. If you are from the UK and you own a limited company, there are two main ways to pay yourself for the application. The first one is to pay yourself as an employee of your own Ltd company, and your company will issue pay slips to show the salary you've earned. In this case, you will need to get a certificate of coverage, A1 certificate, or as you can also apply as the owner, you can also take dividends from your company's profits. Dividends are taxed at a different rate than salary. The tax on them is usually lower than if you paid yourself a salary. So keep in mind that such documents like a certificate of incorporation and letter of authorization is still needed for the application as a business owner. I know it sounds bizarre to sign an authorization letter that you can work remotely from Spain and list your responsibilities by yourself, but this is something that still has to be signed, whether from your co-owner if you have one, or from any other person. Once you have all these documents ready, the last step would be to secure an address in Spain. It can be a temporary one from the hotel or short-term rental, or even it can be from friends or family. Then what you should do is to fill out MIT form and pay an administrative fee. If you are applying with family members, then you need to provide additional documents like a marriage certificate, which also should be apostilled, birth certificates of your child or children, also apostilled, passport scan, criminal background check for each family member, and fill out another form which is called MIF form, and pay then administrative fee for each dependent accordingly. I often hear people asking if hiring a relocation specialist for this is necessary or they can apply by themselves. So you can gather all the documents by yourself, and if you prefer to do so, you can actually use my free checklist with all the documents listed that are necessary for digital nomad visa application. You can download it below the video in the description. However, the application is submitted online on the UGE website, and you will still need to hire a person who has a digital certificate and NIE number who would be able to submit your application on your behalf. On top of that, there are so many steps to this process, as you could see by yourself, and just getting one tiny thing wrong can get your whole application rejected. The rules keep changing, and Spanish authorities are getting stricter about who they are letting in on this visa. This is why you need a full-service relocation partner, someone who can help you get your visa quickly and also help you with taxes, accommodation, healthcare, finding schools for your children, help you relocate your pet, and much more. With my team of experts, we provide everything you need to make your move to Spain as smooth and easy as possible. Me and my husband are digital nomads ourselves. We went through a difficult process of moving to Spain and had to search for correct information and services during many months while feeling stressed and overwhelmed. That's why our mission now is to make this process as easy and seamless as possible for you with our team of experts. If this is something you're looking for help with, then book a call with me and I'll check if you qualify for the Digital Nomad Visa, create a relocation plan that fits your needs, and help you make your dream of moving to Spain a reality. This is it for today, and as always, I see you next week. Hasta pronto!